What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as you guys know on this channel, I've been actually having a pretty decent time when it comes to Black Ops 6. I enjoy the gunplay. I'm enjoying the movement. Honestly, my biggest gripe with Black Ops 6 really comes down to the map designs, but even then, I can still kind of fight through it. But I'll be real with you guys. After playing, a decent amount of Black Ops 6 now, I think I am 4th Prestige, almost going on 5th Prestige now, and coming back, obviously, to XDefiant, there is absolutely one thing that shines so bright about XDefiant that, honestly, it's rough. It's rough to be a solo Call of Duty fan nowadays, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, since the beginning of time, for myself personally, now don't get me wrong, I've always, had a squad to play with and friends to play Call of Duty with. But don't get me wrong, I think me, myself, and a lot of you guys probably watching this video have enjoyed the solo experience when it comes to COD. It's always been enjoyable, Yeah, obviously, you get thrown some rough matches here and there where you might have to verse a squad of players or something like that, and it's going to be, rough odds. But you were still able to fight through it, right? You were still able to enjoy it, and if you were to back out of that match and re-queue for another game in Call of Duty back in the OG days, you will eventually get something more casual, something that suits the solo experience and not some random squad play match. But ladies and gentlemen, fast forward to current date, it is extraordinarily hard to get into Call of Duty as a solo player and enjoy the vibes. I mean, Black Ops 6, man, honestly, I'm almost at a point where I'm just not going to play the game alone anymore. I am constantly being thrown into matches where I'm not doing bad. You know what I'm saying? I'm holding my own. I'm still maintaining a 2KD. I'm playing OBJ, getting OBJ score. But my God, the amount of squads that I go up against in Black Ops 6 on a day-to-day basis when hopping into the solo experience ruins the vibes. Ruins it. Again, I'm not doing bad. I'm not performing horrible. I'm maintaining 2KDs. I'm getting a good, amount of OBJ. I'm doing well. But the teams are so ridiculously just poorly balanced in the worst way possible. Now, in a game like XDefiant, it happens. Don't get me wrong. You get thrown a match every so often where you're versing a full 6-stack as a solo player. But it does not happen as frequently as it does in Call of Duty. The current day Call of Duty. I'm talking about to the point where I back out. I always tell people this because it's no shame in leaving the game. I tell people this all the time. People, for some reason, think that if you're a solo, like if they're playing solo and they go up against me in my 6-stack, because the majority of the time when I'm playing the game, I play on stream, and then off stream, I'm touching grass. You guys know how it goes. But on stream, I always host open lobbies. Anybody's welcome. It doesn't matter what your skill level is. It doesn't matter, if you're good, media. It doesn't matter. I just want to play with the community. So I always have open lobbies. I'm always running with a 6-stack. And when people come up against me, I always tell them, it's like, who cares if you leave the game? I mean, pro players, actual competitive pro players, when they're going in solo and they get put up against a 6-stack, they leave the games as well because it's just statistically an unfair advantage. It doesn't matter how good of a player you are at a massive disadvantage, and more than likely the experience is not going to be very fun for you. So I tell people all the time, just leave, It's no shame in the game. If you're put into a lobby where it's completely, unbalanced, you're versing full 6-stacks, you're playing alone, your team keeps leaving the lobby and they're recycling all the time and you can't get anybody to stay, just hop out and find another game. In Call of Duty, you can't do this. It doesn't matter how many times I back out of these horrifying experiences. I always get put against a full 6-stack again and again and again and again. And in XDefiant, this is countered by the fact that there's no streaks. But in Call of Duty, there are streaks. So it's a nightmare because my team is consistently feeding the enemies. In XDefiant, when my team feeds the enemies, they get no benefit besides map control. And I can work with that. You know what I'm saying? I can absolutely work with that. I can still pluck people off of power positions. But when your team is feeding the enemy Blackbirds and Chopper Gunners and AC-130s, and these streaks are on repeat, they're getting them again and again and again and again, there's no fighting back. There's no survival tactic besides sitting in a building. Even pulling out a rocket to try to shoot down all these streaks will lead to you dying 5 to 10 times with how many streaks are in the sky. There's no point in fighting back. So like I just said, nothing wrong with backing out of an experience like that, right? It's completely unfair, not balanced, so leave and rejoin. But like I literally just said, it doesn't put you against solos. This skill-based matchmaking system is so disgusting against the solo player. It just makes me sick. And it's so sad, too, because honestly, you guys know what I've been saying about Black Ops 6. Treyarch is indeed, I know everybody hates when I speak this way, but it's the freaking truth, and you can hate me as much as you want, but I don't care. I speak my mind on this channel. It's my channel. If you want to share your opinion, make a channel and share your opinion. That's the wonders of the internet, right? That is the absolute wonders of the internet. If you don't agree and you think your idea is, the all-time best, which I don't think anybody's idea is all-time best, you have to keep in mind, these are all opinions. Everything that you say about a video game, unless you're saying, oh, it's $70, that's a fact. But anything that you say about the game, even when it comes down to the maps, when I'm complaining about maps in Black Ops 6, that's an opinion. That's not a fact. It's not a fact that the maps are trash. It's an opinion. I don't like them. They're not for me, but other people enjoy them. But I can still state my opinion, and so can you. But as I was saying, I'm actually enjoying Black Ops 6, and I've been lucky enough to always run with the 6-stack. So that's how I've been able to, fight through it, enjoy the experience, because my team is the one dropping streaks. My team is the one, cycling through choppers and, advanced UAVs and regular UAVs counters. So, I am on the good side of the matchmaking algorithm. But I feel so freaking awful for every solo player out there because trust me, I know the experience. I tried the experience. I still sometimes hop on late at night for some solo action, and I just can't get it. It's impossible. Yet and still, if I hop on XDefiant, it's a night and day difference when I hop into the solo gameplay. And I'll tell you right now, when I hop into solo for XDefiant and I go up against a full 6-stack, there's 2 different lobbies that I get when I'm versing 6-stacks. The first lobby is I get teammates that are competent to my level, and then I'm versing good enemies. So it's a good set of players in that 6-stack, versing, competent solos who are on my team. So it's a fun fight. Or I get another match where I'm versing a 6-stack, but my teammates aren't that competent. They're going to get whooped up, but my skill bracket is extraordinarily high. So technically in this lobby, I should be stomping out the 6-stack, but the 6-stack is probably going to be destroying my team, which that's typically how it goes. I can drop 50, 60, 70 kills, but I won't win the match because at the end of the day, I'm still versing a 6-stack. They're communicating, they're working together. They're still going to win the game. But again, they're not my skill bracket, right? They're not my level when I don't have teammates who are up to my level. The only time I verse enemies of my level when it's a 6-stack is when the game gives me teammates to support me. In COD, that never happens. Yeah, sometimes I get some solos that are decent on my team, but 9 times out of 10, that's not the case. And the funny part about it is that I'm always versing competitive players. I'm never getting put up against a 6-stack who are just, subpar players, and then I get, a bunch of, subpar teammates. No, that's never the case. I get subpar teammates, and I get very competitive players, and then I get, competitive teammates, and I get very competitive players on the enemy team too. There's no in-between with the matchmaking. It's always competition, and 9 times out of 10, you're not going to have the team to back you up. With all honesty, I really think that Call of Duty, or Black Ops 6 specifically, needs to adapt the system that XDefiant has here. I know for a fact that the matchmaking isn't going anywhere, which absolutely sucks. I know. I hate it. I hate the matchmaking in Black Ops 6. I hate it in Modern Warfare. I hate it in all the Call of Duty games from Modern Warfare 2019 up to current date. It's awful. But I think one thing that we can agree on here is that the matchmaking should prioritize your party size in Call of Duty, and there's absolutely no excuses for it. The Call of Duty, player base is big enough to be able to, allow solos to play with other solos. There is literally zero excuses around this, not even in the slightest. You should always go up against solos. That should be priority number 1. And if worst comes to worst, then yes, it will trickle you into a game with duos or trios. But this isn't XDefiant, right? XDefiant, I will admit, the player count has definitely dwindled from day 1. So yes, you might see more 6-stacks when you're playing solo, or when you're playing in a duo, you might be thrown up against more 6-stacks, because it's just trying to get you into a game as fast as possible instead of making you wait a bit longer to find other solos and duos, which I understand. But in COD, that's trying to be the case. How many players are playing Call of Duty? How many are on Black Ops 6? There should be no reason in any universe that a solo player is going up against a 6-stack. I'm just being honest. There's no excuses for it. They have plenty of players in the player pool to put you with other players that are in the same boat. But until that day comes, sadly, this is how it's going to be. From my perspective, if you are a solo player and you want to play solo, the best place for you to go is XDefiant right now, because you will be prioritized. But if you try to take that solo mentality into Call of Duty, it's not going to work. It makes no sense. Like I just said, it makes no sense. There's so many players playing Call of Duty. There's absolutely no excuse for you not to be able to be put up against other solos, but that's not how it goes. And it hasn't been like that for ages now. The only way a solo player can enjoy a Call of Duty title nowadays is in 10v10. And they strip 10v10 out of the experience. So until they add 10v10 into the game, I think realistically, XDefiant is where you have to go. And of course, if you are playing with a party, you know, Call of Duty isn't shabby. If you play with a full 6-stack, it's enjoyable. It is. You can actually get into some fun, matches, some good competition, and also some casual, pub stomp sessions. You don't get that as a solo player. You don't anymore. Unless, of course, you're in the top bracket and you can frag out a bunch of the times. And yes, on occurrence, you will be able to drop some streaks, but 9 times out of 10, you are indeed going to be versing full 6-stacks who are going to be farming your teammates for streaks, and you're going to be stuck in the back of the map while streaks are just raining down on you 24/7. It's sad, but that's just how things go. And I gotta be honest, I really appreciate Ubisoft, the XDefiant team, and everybody who, had a say in removing the strict EOMM that, a lot of these games are picking up nowadays, and just giving us a very simple matchmaking system, ping and your party size. I love that. And I hope other games adopt this. But again, like I said, I don't think Call of Duty will adopt it. But one thing I hope they do adopt is your party size. Please bring this into Black Ops 6. That right there would help out the game tremendously for solo players. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hated it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern time. And of course, if you guys are interested in my live streams, I will be live today over on Twitch, starting at around, I would say, 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern time. By all means, if you guys are interested, I got a link to that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you all on the next one. Peace out.